So let me tell you the reason I announced on the front end that we're videotaping. I had the amazing scheduling luck this year after the back to school ice cream social that goes until like at the high school, like we were begging people to leave at 9:30 at night. I left the next morning to move Eli to Georgia for college. And tonight, we're having this meeting, and I leave at 6:30 in the morning to move Zoe to New York, so to go to graduate school. So my scheduling left something to be desired this year. So so that's the reason I announced on the crier we're videotaping, because usually if I don't announce it for about 2 days, I get probably about 270 emails. Are you videotaping it? Did you videotape it? Did you videotape it? So I was trying to get ahead of it. So I hope you all will forgive me, but at the very end of this session, I literally am going to bolt to my car because I still have some packing to do, and hopefully y'all have plenty of opportunity to talk to other administrators and me anytime you want to, and certainly tonight. But I'm going to beg your permission to forgive me for running out the door, because we Warners are small town country folk, so moving my daughter to New York City tomorrow is freaking me out a little bit. So I'm deeply, I know, send me some love. I'm really excited for her because she's not a huge big city girl, but she said, these are those moments you're like, okay, we did something right. These people who taught my child raised her well. She said, Mom, I don't want to be 40 years old and say, well, I didn't go to the program of my dreams because I was afraid of the subway. And I'm like, yes, never let fear drive your decisions. So we're going to zip through this because A, we've got some important things to share with you, and B, I've got to get home and finish packing all of her things for 12 months. So we're going to go ahead and get going. Connie, you said this one? Yay. I'm radioactive, so usually if I touch technology, it stops working. So let me just start by saying welcome. We're so very happy you're here. We do understand tomorrow night is elementary curriculum night. There's just a lot going on between high school meetings and elementary meetings. So those of you at the elementary school, we know you're doing double time this week. So thank you. We really appreciate it. Let me ask this. If you are brand new to CSD, as a new family, would you please stand up? Yay! I'm so very happy you're here, and I will say at the very beginning of your journey, we mess up a lot. We say we're sorry. We try to do our very best and put kids at the center every time we make decisions. But we're not perfect. I wish we were, because we would be if we could. We would be perfect for your kids. We welcome you, and we look forward to partnering with you, because in our opinion, this journey of educating children is a true partnership. So we welcome you, and we hope that you're feeling welcomed in your classes and that your kids are. But if they're not, just yell and we'll help, okay? The one thing that you should tell yourself as a new family to this school is that we do care. If you're wondering, I'll answer it now. We care, period. All right? If you are sending your first child to kindergarten for the first time in your parenting life, you're a brand new, going to school, sending your baby to school for the first time parent, stand up. Do we have anybody? Yeah. Teaching kindergarten, and it's just the most absolute best grade in the whole world because everything's magical. And my fantasy at CSD is that we figure out how to make every year have a lot of magic. So it's awesome. I hope your children fall in love with learning in a different way. I'm sure they came to us already very curious and in love with learning, but hopefully we solidify that even more. So welcome. It's exciting. And then you blink your eyes and you're taking them to New York to ride the subway to student teach. Okay, now if you have a senior this year at CSD and you just took your last first day of school picture for your seniors, stand up. Those are hard pictures to take. The senior year is full of all those. It's the last first day of school. It's the last service advisory, it's the last everything, it's the last DOC, it's the last a lot of things. So again, enjoy the ride. It's pretty special. Are you going to tell her secrets, Betsy? Not when, unless you have a 2-year-old, and then you're saying, senior, you cannot go to college. I need you to help parent the 2-year-old, right? So we love to celebrate at CSD. We celebrate learning, and we celebrate milestones, and we celebrate awesome moments in life. And we just wanted to honor those very special moments. I never in a million years dreamed I would spend my days at a high school, but I will tell you, having started my career in kindergarten, high school is just as magical. It's crazy, and some days I think I'm too old to do it, but most of the time, that blossoming that you see in kindergarten as they become this little person that has all their own ideas and thoughts, in high school you get to see them blossom into these young adults, and it's pretty special. So most of the time, I think this is a pretty magical place. I do have some hard days, I admit it. So tonight we just have a few goals that we want to get through. I'll burn through them really fast. Our goal is to get you out of here ASAP, and then you can brag to everyone who watches the Vimeo that they missed it, had dinner coupons when you left, no, I'm teasing, gifts, presents, but seriously, hopefully you'll leave here feeling pretty informed about what's ahead of us this year. We just want to update you on some important things. So, we want to remind you of the why we do, everything we do. That's the secret sauce at CSD, is the why and the relationships, hands down. And then hopefully we'll frame up this year for you. Connie, I was just thinking, why isn't that slide changing? And I remembered, I'm supposed to do that. Okay, first and foremost, I want you to know, if you stick with us, our kids do extraordinary things when they leave here. Colleges want them. More importantly, we're very excited that our kids are figuring out not just that they can get into college, but they're figuring out that they're pretty awesome and they need to find the college that deserves them, which is pretty special in my opinion. Fun, scary fact, 50% of college students do not complete their 4 years of college. That should freak you out. That freaks me out. When we opened a high school, I'm like, we got to do something about that. We think there's lots of reasons. Lack of studying habits, lack of independent living strategies, drugs, mental health, money, but also a lot of the kids, I think, that are in that boat are at the wrong place for them. So we put a lot of time and energy into helping kids try to find the right place for them. And mom and dad, it might not be your alma mater. Okay? Listen to me. Our first group of students who graduated from CSD in 2014 just graduated from college. Do I have any parents of those kids in here? Jen, Betsy. And they're like getting real jobs, and they're going to graduate school, and they're doing amazing things, and we were just like, yes, we had something to do with that. So we do want you to know that if we can raise kids in an environment that allows them to find their own power as a thinker, as a problem solver, as a creator, as a debater, that they'll find their way in life. And that is very much how we approach learning at this school. Not so much always telling them what to think, but really teaching them to think and how to think and how to question and debate and create and problem solve. And they come out pretty cool, much better than us, quite frankly. So yay, kiddos. They grow up and do some pretty amazing things. A few updates I wanted to make sure that you're aware of. Has anybody met our new school resource officer? Officer Nita, she's wonderful. Kudos to Davidson Police Station. They actually let a couple of our administrators go and interview and participate in the process because, you know, we have very specific ideas about everything when it comes to our kids, and we have very specific ideas about what we want in terms of having a school resource officer in our school, and we are incredibly lucky to get Officer Nita. She is everything that we could have hoped for and more. So she just started her job last week. She has a little girl here in our school, and she is already quickly becoming a beloved part, even with the high schoolers. So she's got a strong interest in kids and little kids and teenagers for a long time. So we're very excited to have her. That is a part of our school safety plan last year in analysis, and y'all know that was a very conflicted decision for us, but we feel very good about where we landed and the role that she'll play in this school. And now somebody's mean to us at carpool. We have an officer on Tuesday. But we are so excited to have her. But she has joined us just last week. We did the interview late, and she had to go to a training, so she just started last week. Was that just a week ago? Yeah, already feels like she's been here forever, but please try to meet her. She's spending the first few weeks really just trying to get to know the kids, the parents, the staff, and the perimeter and the facility. So, developing leadership, I wanted to put on your radar. One of the things that I have realized as a leader at this school is that, people think I think for the most part, people think I'm a pretty good leader, and my secret to being a good leader is I surround myself with people so much smarter than me. So as you know, at the elementary through 7, we've got Leslie, Julie, and Mary Ann. And they are the leaders at K7. They are part of the K-12 leadership team. We make those decisions together because it's a very holistic approach. But they're still at K7. Thank goodness they keep coming back to work. This job's hard. I'm grateful they do. At the high school, we've had Connie and I for several years, but we've had a couple of teacher leaders who have surfaced to the top of the kind of administrative duty roster. So Erica Bowen and Amy Tamales have been for a couple of years operating at the high school level as teacher leaders in a true leadership form, but we're kind of switching their titles a little bit and adding a layer. Anne-Marie McAfee, those of you who've known her, Anne-Marie will join Amy and Erica as site-based leaders. There you are, Mary Ann. I was looking for you and I couldn't find you. I was looking right at Julie and didn't see you. I knew you were here. I just talked to you. So Anne-Marie has been one of our elementary counselor, middle school counselor, high school, college counselor, and she's sliding into a site-based leader role with Amy and Erica. And I really kind of want our families to get used to the notion of Erica, Amy, and Anne-Marie as high school leaders, because they are. I need to accept a part of my role that I have fought for 15 years, and that's that whole notion of that superintendent, all that stuff that I don't like to do. I need to just embrace it and do it. And in order for me to do that at peace, I needed to know that we had some additional high school leadership here so that all the balls get caught and carried. And then again, Connie and I still live here and we serve in different capacities, but we've added some high school leadership. One of the reasons we picked Anne-Marie is because in this world that we're living in, we really feel like it's important in our K-12 program to have one leader with a licensed counseling degree. We're very excited. That's something we've targeted for a couple of years. So we learn from her every day, and you will as well. Broadening perspectives. I know the last few years, we've talked about this goal that's been a part of our school improvement plan. That we talked with the staff about that being an ongoing journey. I don't foresee us ever being finished with figuring out how to make sure our school is an inclusive community where every member who's here feels valued and important. That goal will never go away, but we do know in this world we live in right now, it seems like there's a lot of divisiveness. And let me be crystal clear and say, in the world of politics, there's divisive people from here to there, okay? So this is not somebody's bad and somebody's good. This is we have this polarizing thing happening in our country that makes everyone feel confused and defensive. So our goal at CSD is to kind of do what Brene Brown tells us, is lean in, because it's really hard to hate someone up close. And that's what we're doing at CSD. I don't expect or want us to all agree on every important topic. In fact, it would be a pretty boring world if we did. But I would love it if CSD could beat the model of everything around us and lean in and ask questions about why we disagree on things. That to me would be the most beautiful thing, even if we still walk away disagreeing. Tell me why you think that. What makes you feel that way? How did you land there? If we could have those kind of conversations, I am convinced we would be the most rockin' school around, and be excellent role models for our children. So that journey will continue at CSD. We took a hard look at race, the topic of race and racism last year. That will continue this year. We had excellent parent workshops last year. Raise your hand if you went to the workshop with Lucretia. Would y'all recommend it? Emphatically, right? It was really good. So there will be more sessions this year. And we're going to just continue the journey. I don't think we can ever be finished learning how to listen and care about the stories of others. I just don't see how we can ever be finished with that. So lean in and ask questions. At Eli's UGA orientation, the Dean of Students said, I want you to think of, he said this to, an auditorium full of people, my challenge to each of you students is to think of a kind of person, a group, an other that gets on your last nerve. And I want you to find somebody like that and ask them questions about their story. And I was like, I kind of like that. Why not, instead of pushing people away, why not pull them close and ask questions? So I challenge you this year, ask questions. Facilities update, the K7 building is purchased. Athletics property purchased. If you want to know how pleasant bond financing is, ask me, because we close on our bond financing next week. It is the most horrible, terrible thing I have ever had to do in the history of this school. Oh my gosh. If any of you have that for your job, I am so sorry. I have never, it's been like literally 4 months of creating 100-page documents and learning about things I really don't want to know about, and being on conference calls with tax people, attorney people, finance people, and me, the kindergarten teacher. I'm sweating bullets the whole time because I'm afraid that I'm going to sound stupid, right? So completely vulnerable and insecure. And do you know what I decided was my message from that? Good for you, Joy. You've remembered just through going this what our kids, some of our kids feel every day in math class, or every day when they're asked to face a blank piece of paper and write a story, or every day we ask kids to get in front of their peers. I got to relive it, and I'll be better for it. So think of me and how much I am not a bond girl, okay? Really not a bond girl. So that, we close on our bonds next week. The Jay is going to give us a little quick update on the athletic project. Let's just say major delays. It's all going to be okay. We're going to do it, but we've had major delays because we've been negotiating the cost of road improvements and getting our plan approved, and it's definitely going slower than we wanted. The good news is that gives us more time to raise money so we can get all that we want instead of part. But we're very excited about the journey. We're headed in the right direction. We are in the midst of doing a $250,000 Wi-Fi network upgrade, and Connie did this amazing process with E-Rate and got some free money for us. So A, we're getting this awesome new Wi-Fi system, and B, we're getting it kind of really cheap, so that's even better. The timing is less than ideal because we're in the midst of waiting for our turn to come up, but you don't turn away $250,000 Wi-Fi because the timing is less than ideal, right? Transportation and traffic How many of you have been, reading nasty things about CSD on Facebook somewhere recently? That's the joke, right? Everybody who gets mad at CSD puts it on Facebook. It kills me. So here's what I want you to know. No, it is not illegal for our families to take side roads around here. Now, it's not illegal. It's just it's not considerate. So can our parents legally drive on a road? Yeah. We've had a carpool plan suggested to us by the local police of the safest, best, consistent, reliable, expectable traffic flow, and we just try to follow the rules. That's all. So can people cheat the system? Yes. Does it make you really mad when they cheat the system? Yes. It frustrates me as well. The only thing I know to tell you is the same thing I tell all of our children when they see somebody doing something wrong or inconsiderate, is try to be the best you can be, and it'll all work out. And so I would ask you to be kind, to be considerate, to understand it's certainly frustrating for neighbors right around our schools to have school traffic twice a day, absolutely. And hopefully the goodness from our school outweighs the twice a day traffic stuff that comes. But I know for sure if our parents are fighting with the neighbors, that's going to make my job harder. And it is not fun to get cursed out. It's really not fun. So if y'all can just help me, be nice, take the high road, do the right thing, I would very much appreciate it. Because we do bring traffic to Davidson, and we're going to continue to increase bus routes. That will help, but it's a slow process. And we don't have some of that funding, so we have to prioritize. Bus transportation, as I said last year, if you don't count the price of the bus, which is $90,000, just to do the satellite stops that we do now is about $25,000 out of our budget. So we will continue to add, but finding bus drivers and adding the funds it's just that we have to find bus drivers and we have to find the money from somewhere. So keep that in mind. People forever say, why don't you charge for the bus? And I say, well, because it's really not appropriate. We're a public school. If we're going to provide it, we should provide it, and it should be free. And if parents want to donate to our general funds to help cover all these things, I'll take your money. But we're not going to charge per head to get on the bus. It just doesn't feel good. Okay? Okay, Jay, you want to come and give them the 5-minute update on this awesome, beautiful Spartan Park? That's what we call it. It doesn't really have a name yet, but to me it's Spartan Park. We'll see.
I don't know if I'm go ahead and take this microphone or not. But before I get started real quick, I know I said 5 minutes, but I was in here a couple months ago and I saw my son as a senior now. And as a proud father, I was very proud of the kind of event that he had organized in this room. And I started thinking, where did he get this talent? He didn't get it from me, and I'm sure he didn't get it from my wife, right? But he became such a great individual so much because he's able to spend so many days with Joy Warner and the staff that she's involved around here. So let's give her a round of applause. So first is outside, there's some pictures and things that we're doing, still a site plan. She mentioned there's been some delays, but we still have a possibility of having our first football game on that field this time next year. Football teams already played 2 games. Some of you may have seen them at elementary carpool on Fridays. But this will be a field house that we're looking to build. It'll have basically a timeless design, kind of farm, low country design field house. It'll have restrooms for public restrooms and locker rooms. And the site plan, too, some of you may have read in the local newspapers, kind of that top left-hand corner. We've done a partnership with the town of Huntersville, so it'll be a joint use project on the tennis courts. So we get first choice, use it whenever we need to use it. Whenever we're not using it, the town will also help manage the use of those tennis courts. Kind of the center piece is obviously the track. One of the unique things about the track is going to be one of only 2 tracks in the whole area that will meet the adaptive sports or the Special Olympic type specifications. basic community, our school and UNCC, other than that, Davidson, Johnson C. Smith, Wingate, no other high school will be able to have a track that'll meet those specifications for adaptive sports like we'll have. Synthetic turf will be lined for girls lacrosse, boys lacrosse, football, and soccer, and be a great piece. But one of the other things, all here on the left-hand side, is the preservation of some of the most amazing trees you'll ever see. Right? To be able to come here and be able to learn and study and recreate, whatever you want to do underneath those trees, it's going to be a fantastic place. So thank you guys very much, and I'll be outside after this meeting if anybody has any other questions.
Thank you. So this is phase one. If we raise a lot of money, we'll add, we've got baseball in that practice field over to the right and softball that are on hold. You have to make hard decisions. That whole tree preservation, believe it or not, cost a lot of money, but we did the right thing. We are confident and comfortable with our decisions, but it's a lot of money to preserve as opposed to clear cut. And if you don't know anything about developing like me, I'm like, what do you mean? That's just ridiculous. And they're like, the reason they clear cut is that's how they even out the land. And when you have to carry dirt off or bring dirt on, it costs a lot of money. So saving trees costs a lot of money. Building this amazing track that gives a message of inclusivity, which has been a part of our mission statement since the day we opened our doors, costs a lot of money. So we always say doing best for children is not cheap or easy, and it's not, but we try to make our decisions with integrity and stay true to our mission and vision, and I believe this is going to be a very beautiful, special place. I'm very excited for this time next year, for the beginning of us using that space. So, thank you, Jay. I don't even want to know how many hours he's put into this, so if you ever needed to be grateful for someone, that man should be on your list. State and local funding this year has been better than in the years past, so we're kind of hopeful with that. We've gotten our state funding numbers, but as far as local funding, that money goes to the local school districts and then they funnel it to charter schools. So while it can look good on paper, I never really know how that translates to the money that we get. Because sometimes I'll say, oh, local funding looks good. And then I'm like, well, what happened? This does not seem to match. But there's lots of things like how many students the local school district has, any projects that get money cut off the top before they divvy out our shares. At the state level, Connie, you may remember it from board meeting because I'm not going to be able to quote it right, but one of the reasons people say, well, wait, teachers' pay's gone up, right? And one of the reasons people are confused is because what's happened the last 3 years is, yes, pay is slowly increasing at the state level with funding, but guess what else is also increasing? The amount of money they make the school pay for state health and retirement and the teachers. So when teachers say, well, I was expecting this big 6% raise and it's actually a 2% raise, it's because they got all this money locked out additionally as they increase the health and retirement. So just know this, it's complex. It's never neat and tidy. And our CSD teachers get approached all the time because they're extraordinary to go teach elsewhere. All the time, and sometimes they do go teach elsewhere. We lose great teachers to go teach elsewhere. We send them off with love, we wish them the best, and we look at it as our seeds of CSD goodness being sprinkled, and that's how we will forever look at it. But do I hate losing our great teachers over money? Absolutely. So just know that that's our ongoing challenge. Hands down, the struggle for CSD's budget is human resources. It's the two teachers, a teacher and an assistant in every classroom. K-5, it's 2 certified teachers in middle school core classes. It's all the electives, it's all the special education assistants, it's where we put our money. But it's definitely the thing that's always our challenge. So fundraising. Sadly, it's our cross to bear until we get more educational funding. We have continued to pursue some grants. We did get a grant to pay for half of our school resource officer. I think the price tag on that's about $65,000, and then we got a grant to pay for half of it, but the other half's got to come out of the budget. The Wi-Fi grant through E-rate, we were able to secure $250,000 worth of money, so we know we need to be pursuing that. Jay is working feverishly for sponsors for the athletic facility, for the banners in the gym, and then our annual fundraising activities that Joyce oversees. There's Joyce back there with the kickball tournament, the discount cards, the auction, and the fundraising, the capital letter writing campaign that will go out tomorrow. And y'all are going to tell everybody you know, please give some money to the school because we have to pay for all this great stuff. I like to be explicit and transparent with our budget so you see what our challenges are. I believe goodness will prevail, and if we do right by kids and we're good stewards of our budget, it will all be okay. But the main reason CSD has really flourished over these 15 years is you, the parents at this school, who believe that educating the children in our school is all of our job. So thank you for that. Things down the road that we'll be looking for, obviously keeping that staffing at the high level we have it. K7 down the road targeted a new roof, a new playground, the HVAC systems. Oh my gosh, if you have a high schooler, we've had 3 broken units since school started. I'm like, are you serious? All summer you couldn't break? You have to break the first week of school? Then continuing to increase our transportation. We really want to, our next bus that we have in line to purchase is one that includes a wheelchair lift. Is that what it's called, Lindsay? A lift. So that's our next bus. So we are chomping at the bit to add another bus, but specifically to add a bus that has that lift for us is really important because you want every kid at the school to feel fully included, and that's been something we really want to do. And then all of that awesome technology stuff that I know nothing about, and I'm so grateful that I'm surrounded by people so much smarter than me. So last year, these are the big activities that we're having with general fundraising. We've got the discount cards, those little cards that we say please sell. If you really don't want to sell them, absolutely send them back. We totally understand. Some people don't like to sell things. We have some parents who send them back and say, but here's a check to ease my guilt. We totally get it. Not everybody's made for selling things. However, just so you know, we're not big into selling things either. We don't like to put kids in that situation. But I want you to hear this. This is the reason we sell this one thing. We sell these discount cards because we had a group of parents say to us, I don't make a lot of money, and giving to this school financially is not something I can do right now. But I want to be able to help. And I can ask my family and the people at my church or the people in my neighborhood if they'll buy a $10 card, because other schools charge $20 for those cards. We charge $10, and really, you get your $10 back pretty quickly. They're awesome cards. Thank you, Joyce. Yes, it's an awesome card. So, one thing that we ask you to sell, it builds community, it lets the town of Davidson and the surrounding area know our families are spending money there, which is great PR. It actually, I have had parents come back and say, oh my gosh, for that $10, I got back easily $200. In fact, one family figured out, who was it, that they make money off the card. The Ace Heart, was it you?
Saturday morning, but Ace Heart.
I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh yeah, I buy several cards. I make money off of Ace Hardware. I'm like, okay, now you're smarter than me. It's awesome. So Nancy has figured out how you buy more cards than you actually make money. I am in awe of people like that. I'm not organized enough. But here's what I want you to know. If that is against your family values to sell cards, don't be mad. Just send them back and say thank you, and it's okay. But know this, that little card sale that we do every year that's half as much as everybody else's cards, it builds community, it allows families who really struggle financially, it allows them to participate. Do you know how much that makes our school every year? $60,000 last year? $70,000? $80,000. $80,000 for those silly little cards. So yes, we're going to keep doing them. And jump in the fun. Come on, you can do it. But don't send your kids out knocking on strangers' doors alone unless you're watching them, okay? Because that's why we don't ask kids to sell things. If something ever happens to them, I won't live through it. If you want some advice on how to sell the cards, just get Mr. P to do the video. If you haven't seen Mr. P's launch for the discount card, I'm sorry. It's on Facebook. We need to put it on the crier. Can we put it on the crier? It's awesome. He made the best video. So it was just terrific. Anyway, thank you for selling the cards. We appreciate it. It really does make a ton of money, and it's pretty painless. But if it's going to make you grouchy, just send them back. Okay? Don't yell at anybody. Send them back with a smile, and we're good. Okay. This year we do have, again, our Kickball Festival, which is really a community builder, and we make some money too. We have our auction March 23rd coming up. Kickball is October 18th. Those things only matter if people participate. And then all of the little things that we do every year with the Amazon Smile. Do you know about Amazon Smile? Spread the word. If you hook up to Amazon Smile and you have to go in through Amazon Smile and you hook up to CSD, we make a lot of money. And you just shop the way you always do. And we can make money. So shop through Amazon Smile and CSD gets some of the money. Harris Teeter Link, Can Do, recycling box tops, every little penny helps. Tomorrow, we usually get a packet at this meeting. We're going to stop doing the packet and save the trees a little bit. We're going to do that electronically. Last year, I was floored at how many parents said to me, I didn't know you needed money. I'm like, do you not listen to me? Every year I say, we need money. We do. I hate money, but we need it to do what we do. This is me asking all of you to give money to the school if you can. And ask all of your friends too, because it's what we do is a lot. If finances are tough in your family, we get it. Use your time and your energy to support this school in other ways. And when times get better, we'll lift each other up and we'll pay it forward. But just know that it is a real challenge of charter schools. We are very blessed with what we have, but we need to protect it by making sure that we don't become apathetic, right? Okay, so that's yucky money talk. Here's the most important thing that I want you to hear tonight, okay? So, first of all, before I go into this, I need to say this because I haven't really been able to speak to you all about this. But, so last April, I lost my pawpaw. It was really terrible, but also really beautiful. And for those of you new to CSD, my stepfather was one of our head custodians, and then he retired, but my mom never really let him retire, so he had to keep working anyway. But he passed away completely unexpectedly over spring break last year and caught everyone off guard, completely on his terms. He got sick on the last day of school, and his service was the Sunday before we came back to school. He planned all of that so Mama and I would not miss work. And here's what I want you to know, if I can say it. It was the most beautiful, precious experience that one of the top 5 of my life so far. And part of that was because of this community. Because he was loved from the minute he was in the hospital till we went to hospice, and the hospice nurses were in awe because Papa always had at least 10 women around his bed rubbing him. They were like, who is this man? And I said, he is the most beloved angel on this earth, and this is just a sampling of the people who love him. But you all helped me send him, off this earth, and I'm really grateful that he got to be a part of this community and continues to be so. So here's the secret I want you to know. All last spring, after he passed, I was doing all the normal craziness of graduation and everything crazy that's going on, and normally I feel my stress going up, and I kind of fake it pretty well, but the reality is it's hard doing this job, and I felt this bizarre sense of calm. Seriously, all the way through the entire crazy spring and graduation, and I finally realized the day before our CSD graduation what that was, and I'm convinced it's Pawpaw, because now I wasn't doing this job alone. He's like right there with me, right? So right before school started, and this is my message I want you to hear, right before school started this August, I kind of like felt that stress. Like, there's so much to do. I've got to move Eli into college. I've got to move Zoe into college. I hate this bond stuff, and I really don't want to do it. It's awful. And I just felt that stress. And you're going to think I'm a little crazy and think, oh my gosh, we trust this woman to lead our school, but I'm just going to go and share this with you. So I'm on my screen porch, which is where I love to be. It's my place. It's that and my bathtub and my bed. But my screen porch is my place. It's surrounded by trees. I have a family rule. You can come on the porch with me, but you cannot talk. This is my place, right? I'm serious. You come on my porch, you're coming for peace. That's the peaceful place at our house. And I'm just comatose. I'm literally laying on my little couch, comatose, thinking, this job is so hard. Am I too old for this? What is going on? And I look outside, and there's this little North Carolina Eastern box truck trying to come up our stairs. And I'm like, oh, honey, this is not a good place for you. So Rogers came out. We're looking at the cute turtle. You know that's the North Carolina reptile, right? You should know that. Okay, fun fact. So Rogers catches it, takes it back out to the woods because, like, that's a better place for a turtle, right? And I'm like, okay, the little turtle's back in the woods. Joy, take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. Sit back on my couch, and I immediately start thinking of all the 400 things and feeling the stress. And I'm trying to do my work. An hour goes by. Guess who's back at the step? The little turtle. He's back. He came from the woods, back up the hill, through the woods, through the grass. It's a little yard, but he's right at the same step. So here's my weird woo-woo joy thing that I'm going to share with all of you. At that moment, all I could think of was Pawpaw. If you know Pawpaw, you know he knew everything about nature. Pawpaw's gift on this earth, his purpose was peacefulness. Anybody ever have a moment in your life and you ran into Pawpaw at school? I'm not joking. Your blood pressure goes down like that. He hugs you. He hugs you like he's never going to let go, and you don't hurry anymore, right? You think you're in such a hurry, but when you ran into Pawpaw, you just stopped and said, yeah, I'm going to be here with Pawpaw for a minute. And so I'm convinced Pawpaw sent that turtle to tell me just to slow down, take a breath, and enjoy the moment. I opened school. I sent Eli off to college, getting ready to take Zoe off. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's bumpy. But Pawpaw's purpose on this earth was to bring calm and peace. And I'm holding on to that as I enter this school year. I hope you all will hold on to it too. Let me tell you what I need you to do in addition. Our admin team last spring had our pre-retreat meeting where we took a hard look at our individual purpose in this school. And here is the question. The reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. The admin team said, we read an article and we said, is this school better because I lead it? Is this school better because Mary Ann leads it, because Julie leads it, because Leslie leads it, because Connie leads it, and why? So we went through a really hard, digging deep, and a little bit of vulnerability of, I don't know, is it better because I lead it? Maybe somebody could do it better. We had a few tears, some good laughs, but we left that meeting with some pretty vulnerable conversations and a clear sense of our individual purpose on our team and in our school. We went to our retreat and we asked our staff to do that. Guess what? We have an amazing staff, and I have permission to share this. Ann Siebert came. Y'all know Ann Siebert? Ann Siebert comes up to me after the retreat and said, you know, I like to talk in front of people, but oh my gosh, this really spoke to me. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, my purpose. I know my purpose. And I said, tell me, Ann, tell me. And she said, I don't know if you know this, but my mother died when I was a very little girl. And since I've been at CSD, we've had some children cycle through our loop and in my classroom who lost a parent. And I never really made the connection, but that's my purpose. I'm here to educate children just like everybody else, but my purpose is to be that person who really gets and understands the pain and the emptiness of losing a parent as a child. That's my purpose. So guess what? Our admitting, because Ann knows and identified her purpose to us, we will even more intentionally make sure that in our class placement process that we already are so intentional about, we have a new added layer because of that exercise. Here is my challenge to you. In the midst of being a parent at this school, your number one job is parenting your children. I guess my question to you is, what is your purpose in our school community? Because I believe you each have one. The people that come through CSD and say it's special, something feels like, sometimes they ask like, are you giving people Kool-Aid or what here? It feels weird. That weird thing that people identify is deep, deep love and care for all children. Not just my own children, not just our CSD children, but all children beyond the doors of CSD. So I would like everyone right now to think about, not in your family, but in this school community, if you could identify a purpose that when you interact with other parents, when you interact with other children, when you enter our building, something that you bring that is absolutely your purpose. I want you to think about it for a minute, and I want you to close your eyes and do it right here, okay? Close your eyes and think. So my next question is, I hope you go home and think about this in your bed, because I'm that person. I have to ponder a little while. We know some people's purpose might be to save baby rabbits, or at least make a good try doing it, right? Is there anybody in here who's willing to share? It's okay if you're not, but is there anybody?
I'll share.
Oh,
Of my purpose.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily. I have a first grader and a third grader. I don't know, a lot of you.
More.
And two more that will come through after. I feel like my purpose here is, I try to volunteer a lot because I like to help the teachers, but mainly I'll start crying because you were crying. I want all of my children's friends and everyone at the school and children we encounter to feel like our home is a safe place, and that no matter if you're having problems at school, at home, with friends, internally, that if you need a safe place to come to, that you can come home with my kids and I'll welcome you in like one of my own.
One more person before I tell you your final parting words. So here's what I will say. If you will spend time thinking about your individual purpose at this school, the goodness in this school will multiply exponentially. That's what happens here. Our teachers have gone through this exercise in the spring and then again at the August staff meeting, and it's powerful to really be intentional. Yeah, we're all here to educate children. That can't be your purpose. It's more than that. I'll share mine, what I think is my purpose. Here's what I think I'm really, really good at. I think I'm really good at making people feel safe, being authentic and real and vulnerable and imperfect. And the crazy part about that is the reason I think I'm good at that is because I just share my imperfections with everybody. And I think people need to feel safe being real and authentic. And I think that's my purpose. I could be wrong. I'm still evolving, even at almost 54 years old. But I hope as we enter the school year, Karen, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say something about being one of the ones that stood up as one with a senior. I feel like I'm sitting here with other people
That have been at CSD from the get-go. My daughter was one of the first, from the first grade. And so we've been here, and I'm sitting back here very proud of myself that I've not been crying. I've been taking notes to keep myself from crying because this is the last year at CSD. Our senior son has had the benefit of being in an environment that is very different from the environment that he and our daughter would have been in if they were going to another high school. And I feel like my purpose now has been lots of purposes here, but my purpose now is trying to drag along some of you with younger kids to help leave the legacy of what CSD is and what it's been in our lives, that we can continue to go out into the community, because if we stay in our weird little place where we're all together and we're all happy and drinking the Kool-Aid together, and we don't go and take that out into the community in a really purposeful way, such as carrying on these conversations about what divides us, but not only doing it within our community, then we're being quite selfish, I think, and we're not doing the best justice for the true community as a community school in Davidson. So
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
And I'll be starting with some other parents. We're trying to do some book clubs for continuing the conversation.
Awesome. So we will share that. So, as you walk out the door, thank y'all for sharing. I hope you'll give this some thought, talk about it over your hot date that you're having. Some of you who spend your date night here together, I'm so very sorry. Talk about it over dinner. Talk about it with your children. Our purpose changes at different times in our lives. I'm getting ready as of tomorrow when I go to New York. I'm going to come back an empty nester, and who knows what kind of crazy thing I'll do. But here are the last things I want you to think about. At the end of the day, things are going to go wrong for your kids this year. They are. Their life is hard. Growing up is hard. Every teacher doesn't handle everything the way you want them to. I opened this school, and every teacher my children have had has not done everything exactly how I would do it. And I opened the school. I'm in charge, right? Ultimately, I'm in charge. That's life. And it's a matter of the good and the non-negotiables. And for me, my non-negotiables are set at CSD. The things that matter to me are good. The little things, I let go, because there's a little bit of good stuff that comes from kids being disappointed. Actually, there's a lot of good stuff. Let me tell you, when things go wrong, whether your child is a kindergartner or a high schooler, absolutely share your feelings. Ask us for help. We'll help you. But remember the message to your kid. We're a team, right? The message to your kid, these are my words. Gosh, that sounds like it really bothers you a lot. If it bothered me that much in 2 more days, I would talk to my teacher about it. You see that? Not, I'm calling your teacher. I think if it still bothers me in 2 days, it's time to talk to somebody. Now what I do then is I go email that teacher. Hey, this is what I told her. This is your heads up. I don't tell my kid I did that because I don't want them to feel rescued. But then the teacher watches for that opportunity to give the child an opportunity to have the courage to say, this is really bothering me. And guess what? Beautiful, magical thing happens in that moment. A child learns what it feels like to be empowered. So start in kindergarten saying those things. Help us help your child. If your child comes home and says, the teacher is so mean, she yells all day, she hit 5 people, and there was a fight, I hope that you will have the good sense to say, gosh, something about that sounds a little bit different than how things are usually handled at CSD. Don't assume all that's true, because guess what? We don't believe everything they say about you. And they say a lot. They do, because they're children and they're teenagers. And when a mother hates me. I don't believe, they say it a lot, y'all. They do. I promise you, we don't believe them because we know you don't hate your children. Please believe that of us and give us a hint. Encourage your child to come back to us. Be the bridge, be the safety net, communicate, and let us work together to empower our children to advocate for themselves and take life by the horns and do things and speak up. That is critical. Help us help them. We're a team. You can always come to us, but don't be mad when we say, okay, I'm going to watch for an opportunity to try to trick her into talking to me because I want her to learn that she is power, right? The last thing I'm going to say as you read these things and head out the door is just remember, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We try to fix them. We will always care, even if we don't agree. But here's at the end of the day what we're always going to do. We're going to try to make what we believe is the best decision for the children. That's what we're going to do. That is in my leadership class, I try to teach the kids to find their moral touchstone. Because I say leadership's not easy. It's never clearly this answer or that answer. And when it's muddy, you have to have your moral touchstone as to what are you going to use to make your decisions. What's your thing? At this school, our thing is to try with the very best of hearts to do what's best for children. Thank you for coming tonight. Tell everyone that they missed an awesome door prize. We love you. When you have a problem at this school, please know we care. And let's work together as awesome partners and assume the best of each other. We always assume the best of you, and we hope you'll do the same for us. Have an awesome year.